In looking at the topic of motivation, there are two types of motivation. You have intrinsic motivation, or internal, and extrinsic motivation, or external. Your intrinsic motivation comes from inside of you. It is the deep burning desire that you have to achieve your goals. When you can believe deeply and connect with your why the goal is important to you, there is no better type of motivation. But today we are going to spend a little bit more time focusing on extrinsic motivation. When looking at motivation, it is important to understand that your motivation level to do a certain task will rise and fall throughout the day. How many times have you said that you felt motivated to do something later in the day, only to not feel motivated when it comes time to actually do the task? This is completely normal, and this is where extrinsic motivation can come in and help. I like to think about it as a cup of coffee. You can have a boost if you need one, but if you do it all the time, it will lose its power. Now, there are a few different ways to use extrinsic motivation, and I will share those with you next. The first is probably the most common, and that is the carrot or the stick, which is basically reward or punishment. The idea is that the reward will motivate you to get something done with the promise of a reward after, and punishment would be administered if the task wasn't done. Now, these can be effective if used sparingly, but if used all the time, they lose their power. An example of how an athlete could use the punishment method for themselves during a workout would be as followed. A basketball player could shoot 10 free throws and run sprints for every one that they miss. Another way to use extrinsic motivation would be to use some type of media to get you pumped up and energized. For example, this could be putting on a playlist that gets you excited, watching a video to pump you up, or reading books and articles about people that inspire you. These are great ways to give yourself a little boost of energy when you aren't feeling it. But again, if you are always looking for some type of media to get you excited to chase your goal, it will be hard to stick with going after that goal in the long run. Again, it is important to remember that your motivation to do different tasks will go up and down throughout the day. The best, most effective way to stay motivated and determined in moving towards your goal is to have a deep connection with why your goal is important to you. That will feed into your intrinsic motivation flame. But for those times you need a little boost to get up and get going, one of these forms of extrinsic motivation can be very helpful. If you would like more information about how to strengthen your mind and defeat your inner rival, follow Inner Rival on Facebook, subscribe to this channel, or if you would like to work with Jeff directly, you can find him at www.inner-rival.com. Now, let's get started defeating your inner rival.